You're such an asshole.
So you know what's funny about feminism is you know, we here on the, I guess that would be the male side of things, we admit kids need their moms, right? But feminists like, "Ah, get rid of those men. We don't need no men." Right? That's your position, right? And then when you gotta do the research for this and you realize, well, that's a horrific, like, what the hell is wrong with you? And when we flip the script, like, do kids need their moms? You're like, well, yeah, they need their moms. And then you realize that not all, I know, I'm not speaking for all of you. And you're like 80% of you, like, get the men out of, we can raise. Like, what the fuck? You taking dads away from kids. And then it's presented to my side. Like, would you take mothers away from kids? Like, no. What's wrong with you? That's horrible. And then you have a newfound contempt and hatred for these people who just they're evil. They're just fucking evil. There's no other way to describe it. I'm going to take the controversy. Look, I'm gonna take this controversial point. Okay. Look how bold and brave I am. Kids need both parents. Oh my God. So the client writes, "Hi, Cappy. The issue of a lack of fathers in the home is brought up a lot in the manosphere as well as other online conversations. Many speak about the effects on children, potential behaviors that often come as a result." Yes, and Dr. Warren Farrell, particularly his research, which is it's age, it's like 10, 20 years old. He's done some research on it, but and there's like a 20 set data point, 20 statistics where things like crime and incarceration and life expectancy and academic performance and drug use, and it's all bad. Like, they have the numbers. I have it pulled up. I'm not going to go over it. It's what you think it was, but there was data and statistics. It's bad. It's bad without dad. That's one of the worst things you can do to your life, is to not have a dad. I wanted to hear your opinion on the lack of a mother in the home. My mom died when I was 10 months old, so I never knew her or had a mother like figure in my life. Just my father. I tried to research this topic in the past, but didn't have much luck because it's relatively rare. Yes, it's not that common. I mean, usually guys die before the women, and usually women are the ones assigned custody. I believe it's 80% of the time. I wanted to know if you've ever known someone with the same situation, or if you have any predictions for certain issues I may face. I would appreciate a video response. Thanks. And then I sent him, I said, I can find some rudimentary statistics, but I agree with you. There isn't a lot of obvious or common data, because I'm old. I looked around. I would have remembered, like, yeah, and if people without mothers, here's what they suffer. So I couldn't charge him that much. I said, let's call it 44, since I'm pretty sure this will devolve into mere speculation and opinion. And that's kind of what happened. And so I did some poking around. I'm sure if somebody went out there and had access to JSTOR or I found some studies, but you had to pay for them. I'm not paying for your studies. And what I presume, that maybe the data's out there, but I don't have time to go look 2 hours to go find it. Some rabbit hole. And I'm surprised if the data did exist. It almost makes me think the data doesn't exist, because if it showed that kids are X, Y, and Z statistics without their moms, you feminists would have been all over that and plugging it the entire time. But it doesn't exist, at least in my research. And what I found, I don't need this anymore because there's no research to. What I found is some general bland platitudes that you would find in pop psychology journals or websites that had counseling. And I'm not disagreeing with it, whatever, but it's what you would expect. Kids without their mothers are more prone to depression. They're sad, alienation, depending on what it was. There's distrust, increased risk, although they didn't even say risk, because they implied there was a statistic. So no statistics, but I'm more than willing to believe that there's an increased chance for mental health issues, consequently physical health. But it wouldn't be anything you wouldn't be able to guess. It's common sense. Kid needs both their parents. Mom is gone. Kid ain't gonna do as good as what they had both parents. I do know, based on Warren Farrell's data, if you got to choose between one parent or the other, you want your dad. The dad is the better one that will prepare you for the real world, and that's the one you want. But I think only in as so far as those statistics, because we were talking, like, you do want to stay out of jail, you do want to do well, those are obvious and black and white statistics. I don't think, oh, but mothers' contributions are less. I just think they don't show up as much in adult life. Women are to take care of you from 0 to 7. That's why your mother outsourced you to daycare, because they love their BMW more than you. And then the dad takes over 7, 8 and prepares you for the real world, which they don't do anymore because you're all Minnesota dads. Like, how it used to be generally. Both are critically important. Both. And without the data, I can't say, but I'm going to guess without a mom or a stable mom, you are going to suffer probably more on the psychological side of things, because that nurturing, mothering, wonderful person was not there. And I could see a very real scenario, especially if you're in a broken family. That means it's strife. It's harder. Dad doesn't have anyone to help with the kids. So you might almost have a dictatorial or a very stern or strict father because he ain't got time for bullshit. So you might come out like soldiers or too strict, and you might not be human. You'd be less, I guess less human. I see that scenario coming out. But anyway, no, it just generally it's the same stuff across different websites. Alienation, mental problems, depression, sadness, a loss of identity that was cited. Okay. They know that if mom died, daughters have shown a propensity to get worried as they approach the mother's age that they died, because they're fearing that they're going to die too. I don't really see anything that is surprising or unexpected, but it's not as bad based on life performance statistics as not having a dad. I will say, if I were to just speculate, because you asked, like, what do I got to look out for? Well, see, your mom passed away. There's a difference between a mom that passed away and then what is probably more common, and that is the mom was such an atrocious piece of shit. The court awarded dad majority or sole custody. And I think that's a more, because, I'm not saying that kids' moms don't die prematurely, but that's not the common one. Mom was a drug addict. I had someone in the comment section, like, this guy married 3 women and they all went on drugs. I'm like, dude, how much money would you have? And his whole comment was like about how successful he was in spite of it. I'm like, how successful would have you been if you just didn't marry these women? What would have happened? And what I think is way more common is the mom's still alive, but mom was bad. And so people in motherless homes, that's the majority of the experience for them. What does that have? And I would even throw in there moms who decide to work instead of raise their kids. I don't care, ladies, that pisses you off. I'm not arguing with you about the fact that you should stay home and raise your children. Kids need their moms. That's, if you didn't want to raise your kids, then don't have kids. They're not things to be outsourced. You don't outsource them to India. I mean, unless they really, I mean, why not? Why not outsource them to India? It's all about the money and having things anyway. But in any case, moms outsource the kids to daycare. I don't mean once or twice a week or here. I understand. I mean, you're the girl boss. You're going to pursue your career. You're not going to be a mom. So that's still an absent mom. Mom's not there. I mean, she may be yelling at you during dinner time or something like that. I think about the only things we could say, and it may not apply to you because your mom never hurt you or abandoned you or anything, like she just died. Generally, I would say it's a lot of distrust, especially among the men or the boys. I would say it's no different than, well, it's happened. When the family breaks down, no matter who or what happens, the boys and the girls are going to look at that marriage shit and say, fuck that. So the fact mom and dad couldn't keep it together, regardless of who's at fault, I don't care who's doing the drugs. The family ends, and then both the boys and the girls look at that and say, "Oh, I'm not doing that marriage shit. That was horrible." Um, Something that boomers don't understand is that kids can then theorize, like, well, if I had kids, but I come from the same genetic stock and they got divorced, oh, I'm not putting my children through it. Like, they actually love their kids. Foreign concept for you boomer parents. Why don't you have kids? Oh, so I don't do what you people did. That's basically it. I don't even have it. That way I can't hurt if it doesn't exist, right? Um, but no, when you come from a broken family, it doesn't matter who's at fault. Go fuck yourself, parents. You couldn't keep it together. Your children are going to distrust family formation. They're going to distrust, and women, I guess, will distrust the men, and boys will then distrust the women. Especially if boys see the dads get divorced. If the kids see their mom, well, don't see their mom. Mom outsources them. Mommy too busy, whatever. I can't. God, I got to imagine then if mom gets sole custody and she just goes out and kills the party, that further probably alienates young people from forming relationships. Uh, but yeah, generally, I'd say that's what you probably got to look out for is distrust. But I don't know if that's an irrational thing. Really, if again, you girls are what 75% of you file the divorce. Um, 45% marriages end in divorce. The remaining majority of them, only 75% are not happy ones. The remaining of the half of people that don't get divorced, they stay married. 75% are not happy. That right there, you're getting early on where mom left the family. Whether mom was a drug addict. You're not going to trust women, I guess, would be a thing. Um, and that's somewhat unfair because, what if you got a good boss and he happens to be late? What if there's a good gal? So it's all right to have a healthy amount of skepticism in today's age, but I think that would be it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be sad you didn't have your mom. I was gonna say I wish some psychologists and academics would research this, but you guys fabricate your data so much. I think we could just go on general common sense. Yeah, you might be a little rough around the edges. Depending how your dad raised you, you might be, a little. See, your case, your mom passed away, so I don't think this is going to apply to you. But if mom alienated the family, mom fucked up, one, you're already put in a bad financial situation. And that's one thing they talked about is like how the dad has to make the money, usually doesn't get child support from the mom because I don't know, the divorce court, you decide not to enforce that, or the mom doesn't make any money. So you're coming from a harsher economic environment. That's going to wear on you mentally. I guess you're just not going to be as happy. That'd be it. And a little more distrusting, particularly of women. And you're less prone to get married. I wish there was data because there's in my mind, the math ain't mathing. Like, okay, so you're a little sad you don't trust women. Right. There's something else missing there. You lose one full parent and it's just, well, I got a case of the sadness and maybe some identity issues and I'm a little less prone to get married. No, there's got to be something more than that, but I don't know. You're probably closer to it than I am because you actually did lose your mom. I wouldn't be able to even speculate. Do I know other people? I don't. I'm trying to think of anyone I know that lost their mom. I know a couple little kids, because their parents are my age or my generation, and the mom was a wackadoo, and then custody was given to the father. I think I do know when the kid, although that the same could be said with the father. The father was a wackadoo. A lot of states, no, you have to spend time with the other parent. The other parents I've known to be drug addicts, of course, feminists. Um, yeah, no, I think they're starting to come to mind. One kid, he's had trouble with girls, but that's every millennial. I honestly don't think it's that. I saw that kid grow up. Because he was given to his dad. Mom was whack. He just didn't hang out with his mom. And then the other one, she's still a girl, like under 18. And that's instance and scenario. The dad had to worry about the mom, like not driving drunk. The kid was in danger. Let's just put it. The mom was such a fucking wreck, but the court's like, oh my god, parental rights. Fuck the kid. We know she's the mother. Oh, the most holy. It's like she's a fucking drug addict psychopath. But we had a social scientist talk to her, and we think it's okay. So I think hanging out, your mom passed away. If the mom's still around, you got to hang out with her. And she was so bad that primary or total custody went to the dad. Any dad finally now has control over the environment where it's stable, assuming you're a good dad. And then the kids, what I've seen is they go to their mom, and it's not that they're alien, like dad is keeping them from their mom. They start realizing that mom is fucking crazy, doesn't ever fucking shit together. There's cat hair and shit and the her very simple things that kids like. Mom's house is shit, dad's house is nice. Not that it's big, it's just clean and put together. Um, I know the fathers that have gotten custody are they have to be. We gotta get on time. We gotta do this. We're going here, cleaning the house. Ba, ba, ba. The mom will still party or go with her girlfriends and have friends over, and the kid kind of has to fend for themselves. There's no like, we're going here, we're going there. You're doing your homework. The lack of structure. So yeah, it's not good to lose your mom. I'm sure there are some underlying issues when you lose your mom that have not been observed or recognized yet. We don't have the data out, but you don't want to lose your mom. As far as I could come up with your life is that you're probably not going to trust. Well, you're not going to trust your mom because your mom failed you. Look, if your old man got custody, your mom done gone fucked up something fierce. So you're going to watch that. She's like your first lady. Here's the first woman in your life to show you that's your role model. And it's shit that I think maybe that's going to negatively color your opinion of women, whether it's a romantic thing or business or social and all that. That being said, though, it's kind of like, well, that is a data point. Well, they're not June Cleaver nowadays. They're out there begging and pleading to get their student loans bailed out so that the money they used that was for tuition that went to the European vacations, yeah, they're begging and complaining now. This is so sad. 30-something-year-old women and men complaining to get bailed out. I don't know. In other words, that type of behavior, it's not acceptable. It's not good, and it's on the bad side of things. But I'm like, is it kind of preparing you for the real world a little bit? Though I hate to be so cynical. But yeah, and I guess what I would say is, in your case, it's a difference between mom was a crazy psychopath and mom died. In your case, I don't know, maybe talk to a therapist. Maybe I don't even know if I talk to a therapist. I go find a group. There's got to be a group where your mom died. Motherless sons and daughters of motherless children of without moms. Like, what happened? What are the things? Because they would know. They'd be able to talk and kind of share. They're going to be closer to it than I am. And then going forward, treat women fairly. Don't just assume, she's going to leave me or abandon me. you know, figure that on your own. Give the girl a fair shake. She'll let you know if she's going to abandon. She'll let you know if she's fake or not. She'll let you know if she's got student debt and a worthless degree. And you better, and here's my other kid. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Don't worry. They don't even hide it anymore. But I'd hate for you to have whatever remnant underlying concerns because your mom passed away, ruin it for you with a good girl, whether it's a friendship or a business relationship or maybe even romantic. But yeah, there's not a lot out there. Not a lot of it's I know it's bad to not have your mom. Kids need both parents. I can't tell you why, aside from obvious, well, you would be sad and there would be a lack of emotional development and common sense things there. But it's not the train wreck it is that if you don't have your dad. Anglo English, 2 books, Overeating, Eating Junk is a Drug Addiction. Yes. Yes, it is. Tell 70% of Americans that. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. I'll see you guys later. Links to all my shit below. Toodles.